The mystery of soul. That's the name of the title that I was given in the moment before coming on the screen, correct? Sometimes the mystery is all there for us to witness. Who am I? How do I get my session, right? It's all about learning about who we are. How we get there is of no consequence. It can happen in the moment of discovery of a soul who says that I'm beautiful, or it can happen in the moment of discovery of life changed on a dime for me. You see, the vision of soul is of creating many different facets of who we are. And sometimes those journeys into our hearts take us to places that we don't necessarily like. Sometimes we visit the hellish realms if that's what's being created for us. Sometimes we visit the heavenly realms if we create those within that duality of heaven and hell. You see, many people are still in that vision that we have to experience one in order to experience the other. And in essence, it's a good measuring stick, right? Whose idea of heaven and whose idea of hell? I vibrate in the beauty of soul. I don't have to experience the beauty of both. Vibrating within the vision of love, right? Love can tear us apart. It can also bring us together, depending on my vision in my mind. How many people want to know what that feels like? I love you, but I have to set you free. That's where some of us go. The painful reunions of those from past, right? Or future. Sometimes a soulmate will come into our awareness and we say, that one is for me. I know my heart. I know my soul. That's the nature of when you reunite with soul. You start to hear the visions of those souls that align with who you are. And you say, it's tragic, right? There's so many souls who are aligning with this vision of one soulmate in the afterlife only. Or, and it can happen, I came here, I saw, and they left, right? There's no leaving soul. When you embody your own soul, they put you on the path that's beautiful for you, and you accept it as that. You say, okay, this wasn't fun. Let me move on. Let me plant the seeds of love for all souls. Let me tell you what it's like to hear the vision of strength coming to me. And I say, I'm strength, right? I'm strength. That's the beauty of who I am, right? What does that plant? I'm heavenly. It means I'm gifted in it. It doesn't mean I have to plant that vision of I'm weak in my mind, right? Do I use other people's material? Of course we do. That's the vision of love. We all express our visions in various ways. Whether we want to or not, I'm sending out signals to people that they're loved. Even if we don't agree on this plane. Some people will say my information is lower than the vision of heaven. What vision of heaven are you using? That's the strength of soul. That's why I honor all visions of it. If you want to be in the heavenly realms with your family tree, by all means, enjoy those visions for all eternity, right? It is literally not the vision of soul to be in the same place forever. We grow, we expand, we be more of who we are. That's the embodiment of it. Do I say I love everybody, but I can't handle your political ideologies? That's what I expect people to understand. I'm strong in who I am. I see the future coming to me. That's my strength. And it's still in me to say, I love you, even if I disagree with you. Okay? But I don't agree with your heart. That's the difference with most people. They can't handle that vision of understanding love doesn't feel good for many. It can feel bad, right? But when you reunite with your soul, they always tell you love. And they come through and they tell you your heart vibrates in the beauty of soul. You see, you feel it in your heart. That's the experience of love coming to you from your own soul. And it literally is the vibration of peace, prosperity, health, and love that I wish upon all here in this plane. Now, when we cross to other planes, does it mean we all vibrate in the same vision together again? At some point, some people adore that vision, right? You're wishing that for all, but it doesn't mean we all get there at this moment. It's all there for us to try to reach for, right? We reach for those higher visions outside of who we are. We can convince ourselves that those beautiful visions of love that come to me are there to help me in my journey. It's not about discounting any guidance or wisdom that we place upon the screen or in our minds or in the books that we read or in the values that we hold. It's about understanding, am I having a good time? Good times for all, right? We want that for our souls, but souls will come through with various levels of understanding. Some of us are in a position of destruction in our minds. I'm tearing apart my family tree with my political ideology. That's many, right? I came here to serve the highest of highest. That's another. Whose vision is right? For whom is it right? You see, your vision of all does not include the vision of those of past, correct? You see, I dishonored the vision of many in my heart by saying, I honor their hearts, I just didn't like the mindset that they created within that moment. That's all that was. And yet people take offense to my own vision of honoring your hearts with the love of who you are in this moment. If you're in this moment to experience love, or if you're here to hear the wisdom keepers of the world, right? Those are one of those visions of love that I often use to lift me up. It's my own soul's vision of giving me something to look forward to sometimes, right? I can be told this book will help you, enlighten you to another perspective that is beautiful for me. Others will say, I can't read that book. It's too destructive to my vision. I've had that vision brought to me of understanding how to unwind the vision of rape by looking at other visions of it from a creative standpoint, and most will not understand that vision. It's not about trying to create havoc in the mind, so I will trigger certain people with this vision. I was in that mode of vitamin D, so this is another vision. The vitamin D I take is still strong. However, I align with those who say, let's get our souls out into the sun every day as long as we live, for the most part, right? Not all of us can. So what do? We alter our genes to accept the beauty of DNA alteration. I don't have to be a sun worshiper to get the nutrients that I need. This would be my soul talking to me. You want to know the strength of soul? That's the vision many hold on to. Oh, someone's telling me I need to do this or that. Listen to your hearts, right? Create beauty and they'll come through strong. However, in an interesting turn of events, I will say giftedness is all around us. I get to be happy, productive, and vitamin D deficient. That's where some people will go. This is still part of the vision of many in my heart. You need your sunshine, souls. Okay, we do depend on that vision for our health, and it is an honest assessment that many are indeed vitamin D deficient, please enjoy your 10 minutes or so in the sun, if at all possible. Okay? That's a soul message. Okay? Now, for someone else, it may be, oh, you're just fine. You're doing whatever you're doing, and you don't need to worry about vitamin D. But in a level of understanding about where we go, we would say honor the vision of love for the vitamins and minerals in our body. Many of us don't take our bodies very seriously. We align with what feels good, and the health and human services energy is on the line. So I have various visions of who I am that I can bring through to show people the mystery of how I connect with various levels of understanding. Okay, so that was the vision of my own soul coming through with the vision of love, because we're talking about the mystery of it. It can feel disjointed. It can feel really good. If you go to that vision of my soul vibrates with the beauty of, well, malachite. That's another vision that was brought through for me in the moment. It's special for somebody I know. It's going to allow a vibrational equivalent of love to come across the screen. Malachite is great for certain visions of, well, we would say sexual reproduction, to be honest, but that is going to be what someone else is going to identify with. And in essence, that's another value that we place on the idea of energy work. So all energy does come into its own in various ways. But the vision of love for all souls is one in which we say, hubba bubba, right? Or a hubba hubba. That was a gum. Now this is another vision for someone who would say this is it's like a brothel. There's someone else there who would have been accused of being in a brothel at some point. That's the nature of those souls who are being condemned by various levels of understanding. And I can honestly say that there is no profession that is looked down upon in the plane of soul. It is about lifting ourselves up to other levels of understanding. So for those of you who would say that there is a soul who is going to basically, this is that vision, sell her soul, right? People place these visions, you're less than me because of your profession or your heart. I say bullshit to that vision. If you go to soul level understanding, there is no less than. When we bring through those visions of love, it doesn't mean that they're in the strength of hearts, right? They're not in my heart, right? Did I look down upon those visions as worthy? I'm worthy of their profession. That's where some people go. Okay? Some people will say it's about the worth. And if that's the case, that would be brought through for them in that moment. Did you go into that vision out of a vision of I'm not worthy of anything that would be deemed higher in vibration? Do we literally start creating divisions in our minds with those who are doing different things with their bodies versus their minds? You see, the vision of love doesn't create havoc for many, right? We judge ourselves without even understanding why we found ourselves in that situation in the first place. This is not about being perfect upon arrival, right? We are. Wherever we are is a good place for us in the moment. And then we decide, do we want to be here or not? People will say, I feel beautiful in my moment of brothel, right? Others would say that's a shameful act for the soul of soul. Based on someone else's idea of what do we do with that energy. So there is an understanding on a higher level of understanding about reuniting with those visions of my energy is combining with others in a way that is beautiful and formulaic. The formulaic vibration of a prostitute and a John, right? We call them out, right? The women are labeled as one thing, the men not so much. This is the nature of women coming into the vision of, I'm beautiful for who I am. I may struggle in my mind or my body, depending on the vision of soul, but there will always be those souls who will come to bat for anyone, anywhere, anytime. I judge you not for your profession. I may not in the moment like that vision, right? That's some of us in our hearts. I may not want you to be in that profession in my mind or in my heart. I want you to feel the beauty of love from all souls. I want you to feel the beauty of your own soul. I want you to reunite. It doesn't mean it can't happen. These visions of you have to be a spiritual, Marine or a, religious zealot in order to arrive to the place of love from your soul is ridiculous. There is no such thing as that, and I am guaranteed to rise into the vision of all when I tell people that vision. You do not dishonor their hearts by saying you're loved by your soul. It doesn't mean in your mind that you haven't been judged by certain aspects of the Christ soul, right? That's another vision that I rose to, and I said thanks but no thanks. In essence, it's the process that I went through. And I said, I'm not going to label myself as one thing. Thank you very much. It sends a message to many who know my vision. They would assume that that person who was of a brothel was somehow bad and going to be going to some evil place in their mind. I rose above that vision. That's the nature of it. We don't create the vision of hell for others. That means I created it for myself in the moment. That's that vision of love for all. I would never try to put someone in a position of lower than from a soul level understanding. It doesn't mean I have to love everybody as they were in this moment, as family, as friends, as loved ones. Do you disagree with my vision? Most people will have a very hard time disconnecting from that idea of separate. I'm separate if I'm creating a hellish realm for someone and yet denying it for myself, right? We lift ourselves up out of the nature of needing to create that vision for others. That's where the new paradigm is, right? We don't have to create in the vision of past. It's still there. Let's look to the future. What does the future say for us here? The future is honoring of all souls. The future is saying, I don't need to put people in places of authority over who I am. It's a beautiful expression to arrive to your soul who says, you're beautiful, you're loved, and you're honored. And that's where most will go. Their soul may say, hey, you need to go a different route. This one's not so pleasant for us on the other side, right? We have various aspects of who we are uniting in all. When you come to soul level understanding, it's part of all, and we even accept those who separate themselves from everybody. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry your head over a little misstep here and there. Because in the grand scheme of things, planting the seed for someone who feels beautiful in who they are, going to see a prostitute or being what is labeled a prostitute, because what does that really mean, right? Many women have sex and expect gifts. Are they prostitutes or are they just loving who they are in the moment, right? You see, you unwind the vision of definitions of people based on concepts or ideas. It's beautiful to have something to aim for, but we're all here creating out of various beautiful aspects. For me, channeling is one aspect of love, and Hardy Boys was another vision that kept coming through for me. And that vision came to light in a small, significant way. Archie Bunker was another vision that was brought to me. So you see, these are ideas or shows that were brought to me to confirm my validation of my life, my past. It's still there for me, presenting itself as a learning point, right? That's the mystery, right? When does the present become my whole? That's what we want to honor. I live in this moment. I honor this heart. I accept the vision of many. I don't dishonor your hearts for most of the world. I can't be everything to everybody. This is what everyone needs to understand about guidance. It is hard to do the work of soul if you're not aligned with it in your mind. I'm more in alignment with someone else's vision as the supreme being. Okay? That means that in essence, we have those visions of higher levels of understanding or enlightenment. And many are trying to reach those highest visions. And you walk around, that's soul. You still walk around in the vision of love for it. And then there are others who go to the outer dimensional realms and say, what's happening in this moment? When I do those visions of in the moment, it is usually because of a soul session that is going to come on the screen live and talk about what's happening in our society or in our hearts. Whether or not something actually produces a result is something different. Those are those predictive qualities as well. Soul level understanding is that we have access to all levels of understanding. It's about whether or not they serve us in the moment. So sometimes those visions of predictions can be very tragic. And I was being talked to about it. It is not all about tragedy. However, the vision of Jewish settlers was not one of tragedy. It was. But we're trying to learn from those visions. Do we understand why we might be a little bit more concerned about the Jewish faith versus the, Muslim faith? Is that where we go? Do we really want to create more disconnect in our hearts with those visions? Yet our society is telling us that that is where we are. Right? I'm beheaded by somebody else for even speaking ill of any religious idol. I don't do that. I would honor those visions as valid for their hearts. What's so hard about saying, let's not make fun of anybody's, religious deities? It's the children of the world again. Right? Would we say this to the children of the world? Let's make fun of everybody else? We do it all the time, but do we really want to embody that vision of calling people names or making up funny stories? Can you imagine? And everyone will say, oh, you're just being too sensitive or whatnot. And yet, in the position of reversal, had their child been the one being made fun of, I imagine that vision wouldn't play out so well in their minds. We justify the visions of stupidity, right? We know the harmful effects of negative conditioning on our minds. Don't deny the vision of beloved. Okay? I will go there, and I will go to bat for those who don't understand the basics of the psychological conditioning of the mind. To be told one thing over and over and to experience it happen in your own mindset is tragic. And that's the beauty of who we are. We unwind those visions of labels. and destructive qualities that people keep trying to bring out in who I am or who they are themselves. Because if I'm stupid, so are you. That's the nature of the reversal quality, right? We reverse it on ourselves. For Brenda, it's just the golden rule. That's how she labels it. I call it the unwinding of words. It's a concept, okay? And most people don't want to go to that vision because it starts to make them think, I myself am less than. It's not about saying that. It's just about bringing an awareness to those visions of love. Your own soul would say, bravo, right? You're bringing down visions that need to be brought down. Some people are here to do the fight, and they'll say something to get someone's attention. You're a fascist, or you're racist, or whatnot. Your own souls will never call you a name other than, well, I get told I'm beautiful and that I'm loved. And that's the beauty that I hold for all. So in the vision of love, this is why most people rise to those levels of, I just want to hear beautiful things about who I am, not where I need to learn and grow, right? It can be tough if you're in that mindset. I go to the vision of guidance. That means I have more to learn in that role that I take on my heart. Jonathan Winters is another soul that came to me in that vision. So I'm a comedic genius in my mind, and yet I keep it to myself. These are those traits that many don't bring out until we are ready to. And that's an honoring of all souls. So I want to say thank you for your vision, your love, your guidance, your honesty, and your hearts. Okay, this isn't about always bringing through celebrity status symbols, because in his day he was very much revered for his comedic genius. But as a soul of, well, by popular demand, right? He said, I was working my butt off just to get noticed, but then I made it big in my mind. How many people know we struggle with those souls who say they are famous or of celebrity status, and somehow they get top billing in the vision of creating heaven for us. Right? Someday your dreams will come true. This is what soul work does. You will start to align with those visions of my dream is coming true. My soul guides me to those beautiful visions of love that align with who I am. And that's the nature of it. I'm a beautiful soul creating beautiful visions for many. And I love you for honoring that in my heart. For those of you that don't feel that in your own vision, I would say that you could indeed reach out in your minds to your own visions of love. But if you can't feel the vision of soul coming to you, imagine their hearts in yours, beating with yours, looking into your eyes, telling you the words of wisdom, the honoring of your thoughts, the honoring of your pain and your heartache whenever it appears in your soul. You would say, thank you for showing me who I am and who I am not, just as we would. That's the nature. As a soul, they would say, who I am, who I am. The who I am not is for us here on this plane to see the singular differences of my experience versus somebody else's. An honoring of that space in my heart that is not separate, but only through the imagination of our minds. We create a divinity of all divinities and call him source, creator, higher power, whatever. It's an energetic vibration of love is what we would really want to say. And we say thank you for honoring our hearts in that way. You will never regret the beauty of soul embodiment. For the most part, some people have that experience of it being scary. We would say, plant the seeds for a loving, caring, self-centered soul. Others will say it's self-centered to do soul embodiment. and then tell people not to do it. It is not the easiest process if you aren't in your hearts with others. So love yourselves gently at this point and say thank you and have a great and prosperous day. Take care.